Hey, RosterWatch Nation. Welcome back again. This is the Garbage Grab, and I am the Trashman. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite running back steals in fantasy drafts right now. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I have Jordan Howard of the Dolphins. He's being drafted behind guys like Marlon Mack, Phillip Lindsay, and Matt Breida, all of whom he should score more touchdowns than and have at least as many yards. He'll share the backfield with Breida, but is a much stronger bet to be the goal line back, as Howard has averaged 8 rushing touchdowns a season compared to just 2 for Breida over his last 3 years. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you'll remember, actually led the Dolphins in rushing in 2019, so there's a sore need for competent runners. Breida has only played 16 games once in his 3 years in the league and is constantly playing through injuries. I really like Howard's value right now, especially where you can draft him, and I like his touchdown upside. Speaking of upside that I like, the 2020 RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet is available now at RosterWatch.com. The revolutionary cheat sheet that changed fantasy football forever is back, only at RosterWatch.com. The RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet, all you have to do is follow the 3 simple rules. That's it, 3 rules. It couldn't be easier. Well, I guess it could be easier. There could be just 2 or 1 rule, but an expert quality fantasy football draft is guaranteed nonetheless. The RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet is only at RosterWatch.com. Another guy who I think is a steal right now where you can get him is Damien Harris of the Patriots. He's got an ADP of 71. He's being drafted behind the likes of guys like Giovanni Bernard, Anthony McFarland Jr., and Malcolm Brown. If you'll remember, Harris at Alabama actually rushed for more yards than current starting running back for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, in 2018. Sony Michel, his main competition in the Patriots backfield, has dealt with chronic knee injuries his entire career and is actually currently rehabbing from knee surgery, putting his camp and potentially the start of his season in jeopardy. And then Cam Newton's acquisition immediately makes the Patriots offense legitimate. So I like Harris's chances. I like his upside in this offense. He's a solid first 2 down back, and he's a good goal line back too. Speaking of other good backs, I'll move on to Boston Scott of the Eagles. The important thing here to mention is that the Eagles have yet to add another back to relieve Miles Sanders, potentially leaving Scott with double-digit touches on a weekly basis. If you remember last season, Sanders averaged only 1.3 fantasy points per game more than Scott over the Eagles' last 4 games, where Scott averaged 5 receptions and 87.5 yards over his last 5 games of the season. Actually, too, he caught 26 of 28 targets over his last 5 games of 2019, which is extremely efficient. With an ADP of 55, he's being drafted behind guys like Jamal Williams, Chase Edmonds, and Rashad Penny, none of whom are right now slated to get the double-digit touches on a weekly basis that Scott is lined up to get right now. Another guy I really like his value right now is Zach Moss of the Bills. He's taking over Frank Gore's role in the Bills offense, a role where Gore had 182 touches in 2019. Moss dropped off a lot of Raiders due to a poor combine performance, 4.65 40, and a 19-rep bench press. I kind of soured him on a lot of people. And he has considerable injury history, but he should get significant goal line duties as long as he's healthy. And he has solid hands for a big back, so he can play on 3rd downs, but isn't relegated to it. With an ADP of 48, he's being drafted behind guys like Tony Pollard and Darrell Henderson, both of whom I think Moss will end up scoring more touchdowns than. Moving on, last but not least, value to be had right now at the running back position, a steal, if you will, Antonio Gibson of whatever the Washington team is going to be called. He's already being touted as a special weapon in the passing game, and now wide receiver Kelvin Harmon has been lost to a torn ACL for the entire season, leaving a very shallow receiving core behind Terry McLaurin. Gibson mostly played wide receiver in college, actually, so he already has the acumen to be a capable pass catcher. He was arguably the most efficient player in the FBS last year with 15.6 yards per touch and led the FBS in yards after contact per attempt. So he doesn't need a slew of touches to do considerable fantasy damage. And then an ADP of 58, he's being drafted behind guys like Chase Edmonds and Justin Jackson, whose roles are anything but certain with new rookie additions to their team. Anyway, these are running back steals that you can have right now in fantasy football drafts worldwide. This has been the Trashman on behalf of RosterWatch.com. Until next time, until next time, you need to leave us a comment, or you need to give us a follow, or you need to get a subscription at RosterWatch.com. Any and all of the above. We'd love to hear from you and have you be a part of Roster Watch Nation. And now, until next time, be ready.